Hello everybody, you're back in my craft room here at Random Acts of Crafting, and I'm Kathy Champion. Welcome in. Come on in and have a seat. Let me move my phone out of the way. What I'm going to do today, as you can see, we have some punches. I've got two of the daisy punches, both the large and the medium. I have a 3/4 inch scallop, and I have this little little sprig. I don't know. This is an EK Tools. These two are Stampin' Up, and this is an EK Tool. So I'm kind of mixing it up today. So I'm going to set the punches over to the side for just a little bit, and we'll get back to those in a minute. The first thing that we want to do is go ahead and get a piece of yellow cardstock, and I'm going to cut this down in half. And what we're going to do, I'm going to bring out my trusty little trimmer and scoreboard. I'm going to take this to 5.5, and we're just going to cut that in half just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and score one of them at 4 1/4. So let's get our cut blade up out of the way and score. And then we're going to fold this in half, just like that. And we will use our bone folder in a minute. Now this piece right here, we're going to use it, and we're going to actually punch some of our flowers. So I think what I want is probably the larger one. I want to punch probably 4 of it, and maybe 1 or 2 of the small one. So I'm going to come over as close to the edges as I can get, and still get a complete flower. I think I need to punch this one through with some foil, some aluminum foil. Well, usually, this one I noticed is catching right here, and this is a much older punch. I think I bought this one off of eBay, even before I became involved with Stampin' Up. But anyway, this right here, I'm just going to clip those off if I get those. I really need to grab a piece of foil and see if I can sharpen this one up a little bit. Okay, we're just going to keep punching for right now, and if it gets too dull, then we might have to stop and go grab a piece of Reynolds wrap. Let me see if I can get a little leverage on it. Well, that's pretty loud doing it that way, so maybe we'll just continue like I was going. That's 3, so I'm going to come over here and get one more right here. And I think that will do it. I'm going to save that piece of paper in case I need it for something. Oh, we are going to need it for something else. We're going to punch out. Yeah, I got one. Let me see. I think we're good. I already punched a while ago. I was playing around with this card design, and let me trim these off, and then I'll show you what I got and where I'm planning on going. But we're going to take this card. It's going to be very similar, but we're going to do it in a little bit of a different direction, hopefully. I have a mat here that is 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to work on that first. This is what I want to show you. This is sort of my idea for the card. I think this is gorgeous. I built that up using 1, 2, I think just 3 of these and 1 of those. And then I've punched out that little scallop punch for the center of my flower. And I do have a, I thought I did. I had a piece of brown that I was going to use for the center, but of course that may have gotten, oh, here it is. I have this little piece of brown that we're going to use, and that's where I punched the other one out. So I save all my little scraps like this because they come in really, really handy for little pieces. So let's go ahead and start building our flower. I'm going to trim these off, the ones that just didn't quite punch good. See, I got that little edge on it. I'm definitely going to leave that punch out so I can go work on it a little bit and see if we can get rid of those little frayed edges. They don't look very attractive. There's one on that one. Now how I'm going to put these together is I am going to use some little dimensionals. And I think I'm going to use these right here. They look really good, and I think they will give us exactly what we want. So let me get these little pieces out of my way. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with one of these little pop dots, put it right there in the middle, and take off the backer. And then I'm going to bring in the next piece, but what I want to do is make sure I'm offsetting it. And see what I mean about offsetting? And the best way that I can tell you to do this is to hold it in your hand, just like this, and then you can see where you're lining it up at. And you want the one petal to fall in between the other petal, just like that. So we'll do that again. And I'm going to put another one right there in the middle and take the backer off. Those little backers, they have static in them. They just want to stick to everything. And we're going to do the same thing again with this. I am going to break up the fibers now in these little pieces and just have them curl a little bit. And you can do this with your bone folder, but I find it just as easy to use my finger. And again, I'm going to offset that so that it falls where a petal wasn't, if that makes sense. And now I think 3 of those. I think I only used 3 on this one. Let me double check. There's 1, 2, 3, and the little one is 4. Yeah, so we're not going to use that one. And I'm just going to do the same thing with this little petals. I'm going to just use my fingers and just kind of curl them a little bit, because curling them is what makes your flower look very dimensional. And I think that that is so important. When you're making cards, you want things that look like nature. I mean, it's paper. We can't recreate what God created, but we can make things look very pretty and as natural as possible. Now this one, I think I'm going to do a little different. I am going to turn that one over and put it right there. And then I'm going to pull the backer off of it, if I can get it on here even. Well, look at that. Okay, put it down like that, and then I'm going to pull the backer off. And then I am going to sit this one. I want to make sure this one is sitting square in the middle. And there is our flower. Now the only thing we need is our center. And I am going to use this little punch. I'm just going to come right here in the middle and punch that little piece out. And that is done. And I'm going to take a jelly roll pen. I love these. This is a 08, and I love what these do. But let me tell you a secret. You want to warm this pen up on your skin. Usually anytime I use the jelly roll pen, I've got white marks all over me. But what you're going to do is just set it down on the paper and make little dots. This is going to give your flower a nice center that looks very natural, and I just think it makes it look like it comes to life, and that's what we want. We don't want, you know, something, and you can go back over these dots and make them a little bit bigger, or you can do a lot of little ones. You can do some little and some big, however you want to do it. Now I'm just going to take my glue, and I'm going to put a good amount of glue right here in the middle, just right on the top of that. And I'm going to put my pen back in my glue, and then I'm just going to take this and sit this right down in the middle, and then I'm just going to scrunch it in and press it down. And that is our cute little flower. Is that not precious? And so easy. I mean, just our punch, and you know, punch out 3 of the daisies and 1 of the small daisies, and a little scallop 3/4 inch punch, and it just comes together so cute. So the next thing I want to do, we're going to bring up our die cut machine because we're going to do some folder embossing. So I have this folder right here, and I want to emboss. Let's see, make sure I'm getting the side that I want. I think I want it right here, just about like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that right there. Let me grab the machine, and I'm going to lay my little flower over here so it doesn't get smashed up or anything, because you know I have a tendency of bringing up something big like this and throwing it down, and next thing you know I got a mess. But I'm going to turn this around like this so you can kind of see what I'm doing. We don't need the die cut plate, so we're going to move that out of our way. We are going to bring in our embossing plate. And again, like I said, it's a different curve or a learning curve for whichever die machine you're using. This one, it comes with a magnetic, the platform, a magnetic mat that you use for everything, and it comes with a cut plate and an embossing plate. It keeps it very, very simple. So we're going to just crank this through, just like that. So simple. And let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. Is that not pretty? That didn't go through quite like I wanted it. So let's try that again. Let's see if we can line it up. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. We might have to just do this one over again. If we can get it lined up, that looks pretty good. Let's see if I got my 3 dots lined up right there. Yeah, that looks like we can get that lined up in there. Okay, let's try it. What have we got to lose at this point? So I'm going to bring this back through, and I'm going to sit this down right here. Let's put that embossing plate back on, and let's crank it through. And I'm going to send it back through this way too. It may mess it up, but if it does, we'll just try it again. And what I might do is need to turn it around so I can have better leverage on it. But you know what? I think that fixed it. It did. Look at that. I don't know if you're seeing it, but it's beautiful swirls, and that's what I was looking for. Okay, I think we got that done. So I'm going to put this plate back in. And I am going to put my die cut plate back on. And you know what, while I got this up here, because we are going to do some die cutting, I'm going to go ahead and do my pieces that I need. And those pieces come from this Forever Fern die set. And I got my dies in here with the stamp set. So I'm going to open this up. And these pieces right here are the ones that you just cut out. These are the ones that you stamp and then cut. But these pieces right here are great standalone pieces. And I'm going to grab, let's see, I don't need this one, but I do need this one, and I want to do these small ones. So let's take those all out and close this up, and then we're going to get a piece of green cardstock. Let's see if I have any green scraps in here that we can use. I usually always have green. And there's a piece of green right there. So I'm going to lay this onto my platform, and I am going to get this as close down to the edge as I can. And I'm going to do this one. Let's see if we can get this one right here. Nope, let's do this one up here. And then we can strategically put these down like that. And see that magnetic plate, how nice it is. Most all die machines have a magnetic plate. Whether it comes with one or whether you can buy it as an accessory, it is so worth the money, because having a magnetic plate that holds those dies down is priceless. So I'm just going to bring those back through to me, and then I'm going to pick this up. And some of our pieces stayed on and some of them came up, but all we're going to do is pull this out. You want to be gentle anytime you're dealing with your dies or your die cuts, because they're delicate little pieces. But look at that beautiful piece of greenery that's going to go on our card. And then we have this piece. Let's get all of our little nooks and crannies out. There's another little piece. And then I also have the 4 little pieces that will go around the edges. Just this will be like a little bit of filler greenery. And we're also going to punch. Let's see if this is going to work. I might have to get another piece of green for this. Well, that looks like it's going to work on that edge. This punch is definitely dull because in the at Christmas I use this punch so much. It makes a beautiful greenery, and I got to remember that this one probably wouldn't hurt to run through some Reynolds wrap and some wax paper. Both of those items will make your punches work so much better. So if you have some punches that are hard to punch, try the Reynolds wrap and then go back with some wax paper, and you will be surprised at how nice that makes it. It sharpens your dies, and I mean your not your dies, I'm sorry, your punches. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and let that go through, and I'm going to move that out of my way. And we don't need the embossing folder anymore, so I'm going to stick that back in its place. And this little piece of greenery can go. And now what we want to do is I need to find a piece of striped paper. So let me go and look. Really what I would love to have is a piece of black and white, because our flower is probably going to go about here. And then we're going to do some of these sprigs of greenery. You know, down like this, but we're gonna put the card together first. So I'm gonna put this down, and I want to strip, and then we're gonna put a piece of ribbon to separate it, and then we'll build our card. Let me grab a few more items, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I found this beautiful little piece of 6x6, and this was in a paper pack called Petals and Blooms, and I've used this quite often. And look at this price. I got this at Hobby Lobby on clearance, regular $9.99. I got it for $2.49. I'm telling y'all, when Hobby Lobby runs a sale, it is tremendous. So we know that this is 4 inches, so I need to figure out how far up I want that piece to go. And I'm thinking probably 2.5 inches, maybe 2 1/4. Let's go 2 1/4. So we're going to cut this across here at 2 1/4 by 4. So I'm not even going to bring my trimmer over. I'm going to do it right here. So 2 1/4 by 4. And there is our little piece that we are going to glue right there, just like that. And what we're going to do, we're going to run a piece of ribbon around it. So let me unravel my ribbon. I love this. Look how pretty that's going to look. I love stripes with polka dots. I think it's a very classic look, and it's just gorgeous. So I'm going to cut off a piece of ribbon about yay big. I got my ribbon scissors, because y'all know I don't cut paper with my ribbon scissors, and I don't cut ribbon with my paper scissors. Rule of the land. I'm going to use some ATG on this. So I'm just going to put this on, and if I really want to get a good adhesive on it, all the way to the edge. And let's put this, the best way to do this is to hold it right up to it like so, and just bring it straight to your straight to your cardstock. And don't make a boo-boo like I just did. Just hold it to the edge and then press it down. Just like that. And if you have any excess adhesive hanging over, just pull it off. You know, it's no big deal. It's not rocket science. So once we get that on there, I'm going to turn this over and I want to put just a little piece. I'll tell you what, let's do it this way. Let's put a little piece of the adhesive right there, and that's just going to be enough to lay this in it so that it will catch it. Just like that. And then turn it over, and what you want to do is run a little adhesive there and a little bit there, and all you got to do now is just wrap this around into that sticky, and that will secure your ribbon. And how pretty is that? Now we've got this part of our card built, we can go ahead and start putting on our flower, our little leaves. I think I want this one at the top because it's shorter, so that one's going to go right there. This one is going to come down across the bottom, just like that. And we have all these little sprigs that we cut, and we're going to put those in just, you know, every here and there. Just stick one under. Just like that. You got a lot of dimension on this card because of the flower, and that makes it look very, very pretty. That green is gorgeous with the yellow, the white, and the black. I think it's stunning like this. So I'm going to put one right there. After you get them laid out, then you can lift your flower up and start gluing these down. And that way you have everything exactly where you want it. So what I'm going to do is very gently pick up my flower, and I'm going to start right with this one. And I'm going to put some glue on the stem. And then I'm going to lay this right here. And I want it to lay down, not all the way, because I want a little movement in that so that it gives it that appearance of being a real limb greenery. And I think this is going to be stunning when we get it finished. I really do love making intricate cards like this. You know, there's nothing wrong with one sheet wonders. There's nothing wrong with, you know, having a quickie way to make a card when you're in a hurry and you need one like yesterday. But my joy comes out of building something from scratch up. I so enjoy the process of making pretty things like that. It's just really kind of my jam. So I'm going to put that one right there. And I think now I'm going to go ahead and put my flower down, and then we'll work the rest of them around it. So all I'm going to do to put that flower down is I'm going to put a good amount of glue right there in the middle. And then I am going to press this flower right here, just like that. And then I'm going to use some more glue right on this. And you know, it doesn't take a lot. You just need enough where you can tuck this under and get it to stick. Something like that. And the same with these little pieces. We want to get those, like I said, just as a filler, just to make them look like, oop, I got one on my hand. Okay, let's get this one right under here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the stylus. This one has the sharp end on one end, and I'm just going to press these down under here. Just enough to make sure that I get them adhered to the card. And I think this one's going to come off right off of that little piece of ribbon. I think that'd be cute. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? And we're not done. We're nowhere near done. Well, we're getting there, but I also want to put some of these little black enamels on here strategically. You know, just, oops, that's not where I wanted that one. That one decided to attach itself on the back side of this mat. All right, that's all right, we got it. So I'm just going to put this down, like maybe right here. And if that doesn't stick, I'll come back and put a little glue on it. I think I want a bigger one. Maybe right here. And then maybe a smaller one. Maybe right there. And you know, we always like to do those in threes, so that's the most appealing way that you can do it for your eye. And that gives the appearance of a little fence with this beautiful flower growing up the side. And that, I think it's just so pretty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just wondering if I want to put a black mat under that. That would really, I think, set that off. Let's see. I got a piece of black right here that is 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut about 5 and let's see, that would be 5 1/4. I need it to be a little bit bigger, but not quite 5 1/2. So let's go. And then we're going to take a 1/4 inch off of it this way. Let's see, 4. I'm going to do about 4 1/8. Just like that. And let's see how that's going to look on here. And then this on top of that. Oh, stunning. I love it. So let's go ahead and adhere that to this. And I think for this I'm going to use my liquid glue. And we're going to put this down right about there. We just want that little tiny bit of border showing all the way around. And I think that dresses that up so much, just having that little bit of black showing behind it. And now we're ready to put this down on the card. We still need to do a sentiment, but I've got an idea for that. You saw how I had the hello on the other one. I'm thinking about doing the same thing on this one. How cute would that be? I might cut that out maybe 2 or 3 more times and stack them. I think that would be so cute. All right, I'm going to use liquid glue again, and the reason for that, it's hard to put this down to put snail on it or any type of other adhesive, so I am going to use liquid glue. Good old art glitter glue. And I am going to slide this over and up. Just like that. And just press it down. Is that not gorgeous? I love those layers. I think it makes it look so pretty. Now we're going to work on the inside, but before we do that, I'm thinking I want to maybe cut that out. And I use this little, just a little simple hello die that I have. So let's pull those over. And I want to put these back on their rightful place so I don't lose them. So I am going to just put these back on the magnetic sheets along with this. And this. I had one of my viewers to ask me earlier. She emailed me and asked me about the magnetic sheets that I use. These are nothing more than vent covers, magnetic vent covers, and I buy those off of Amazon. And I think you can get like 6 sheets that are 8 by 15. I want to say. I think that's right. And then you can cut them down to whatever size you need to store your dies on. So it's a wonderful way to store your dies and be able to do it fairly inexpensive. And we're always looking for something that's, you know, you can go and buy the sheets of magnetic that's already pre-cut, but it's a lot more expensive. So I just opt to do my own. And it works for me. So, yeah, everybody has to find what works for them. All right, there's my little hello and my little H. Hello. So I'm going to lay that right there, and I'm going to cut it again. This time I'm going to cut it from the side. And I think I'm going to cut this probably about 3 times because what I want to do is stack it. I think it's so neat when you stack your dies like that because it gives you some added dimension. Now the first card I showed you, I used some fun foam. Fun foam can sometimes not be fun. It's not always the most easy stuff to work with. It does work nice if you just need to cut a piece that you need to build up for like a shaker card or something, but I think this will work better and I think it will look neater. So let's try 3 of them. I'll tell you what, let's do it one more time just in case we need it. That way we won't have to bring the die machine back up again. So that will be a plus. And there's our little H and the LO. I'm going to lay that over there. That goes in a different spot because it was from a different die set. Alright, we got those all cut, so I'm going to put this back together and just set it over out of our way. And I'm going to bring in my little silicone mat. The reason for that is I'm going to be using glue, and I don't want to have it all over everything. And this is a Stampin' Up! Product, and even though I'm still not selling Stampin' Up! Right yet, I have had some of you to reach out to me and say that you will definitely still be my customer. So appreciative of that. So I'm doing this 3-month hiatus because Stampin' Up! Requires a 3-month sabbatical before you can come back in as a demonstrator. So it will be in October, so it'll still be time enough to get by your Christmas goodies. And I have sent out some catalogs to some of you that had requested. I can't send out any more now because I don't have access to my website. So just kind of keep that in mind and see how when I stack these, how nice and thick that's going to be. So that's going to give me that dimension that I need. So I'm going to start out putting a little glue right here. I'm going to run it up on my L and this L and right there and up on that little tail. And then I'm just going to take another piece and I'm going to lay it directly on it, matching it up. Just like that. Now that works out really super good because now that is already stacked. The H will be easy in comparison to this because you don't have all of that area to try to, you know, put your adhesive on. So, and I probably could have went offline and done this, but you know, sometimes I think it's good for you to see the technique, and then when you try it, you know, you can say, oh, I can do that. It's really not hard, it's just more or less it's fidgety. This can be a little bit fidgety to work, but it does work. And the good thing is the art glitter glue is going to dry clear and beautiful. Now I'm just going to do 3 of these because I think that's all we're going to need. And I think it goes like that. So let's start off with 1H, and all we're going to do is put a line of glue right there and then up this one, and we're going to lay our H into the glue and just press it down. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to put a line of glue just like that and up the side, and again just lay that in it, and that gives us a stack of 3. I'm going to lay this on the card and see if I think it needs the other one, but you know, I think that 3 is going to give us the dimension that we need, and I don't think we're going to need any more than that. Okay, I'm going to get my little scraps off of here. And let's take this to our card. And what I want to do is I want to bring it over to this edge, and just like that we're going to put the hello down. I think that's going to look so pretty there. So all I'm going to do is repeat what we did by just putting the glue on these pieces. And just glue that down right there. You want to get it as straight as you can because you're not going to have another chance. You got to remember that this is, and I'm wondering if I want this to go under that just a little bit to make it look like the greenery. Yeah, I think I like that. We're going to let that greenery look like it's growing over top of the hello. How cute is that? So get this all. You want to get enough of glue on it, but you don't want to have so much that it oozes out. And let's put this up underneath there, just like that, and just press it down. And if you want to put a little weight on it, you can always do this. Lay a stamp block over top of it and just press it. And there is our card. Is that not lovely? I think it turned out beautiful. Very, very pretty. You know, and they're both pretty. They're both different. I forgot to do the ribbon across this one, and I used a wood grain paper here, and I put the hello more over to that side. The flower is pretty much identical, and I did put the little dots, but I used different sizes on this one. But I do think that ribbon with the black and white stripes added so much. So this just goes to show, if you make a card, your first one is not going to be as pretty as your second one. It's the nature of the game. When we are creating, usually our first one, we see the flaws in it, and then when we come back to do the second one, we can actually correct those flaws. So I'm going to cut this piece down to the 4 inches by 5 1/4. And 5 1/4. And we're going to mat this inside. And then we're going to mat white over top of it, and we're going to stamp a sentiment in it, or you can leave it blank as a note card. So let me get a piece of white. And I think this one we're going to take it down to 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 5. So simple, and yet it makes it look so elegant. Okay, I'm going to use my ATG, my AGT, ATG. You know, I've always had trouble with any type of acronyms. I always say them backwards. My husband teases me all the time about that. It's just one of my little idiosyncrasies, that the way my brain works, or I should say the way my brain doesn't work. So I am going to put that glue up underneath the edge so it doesn't show. And I'm going to line that up about like that. Nope, it's got to come over a little bit. And it's not. Okay. When that happens, you turn it over and you do it again. And I think this time I may use the liquid glue just because. Maybe I should have used liquid glue the first time. Alright, 3 3/4 by 5. Alright, we'll do liquid glue this time. I've been doing really good with the snail and the ATG, but then I'm having an off moment. So let's try this, and we'll put it down just like that. And see, that gives you that little bit of wiggle room that sometimes we need. And then we're going to put glue all over this, even up here. And we'll set this down inside, right about here. How about like that? And there is our card. The only thing that we need is a sentiment for the inside, and I'm not sure what I want to stamp inside this one yet, so I'm going to leave it as is, and I will stamp a sentiment or write a note to whoever the recipient of this card is. So I'm going to zoom y'all in. I've got glue all over everything, so I really don't want to show my card up close with glue on my mat, but hey, y'all were here watching me do this, so we're all family. So there is that card. Is that not stunning? I love it. I love it. Thank y'all so much once again for tuning in, for sticking with me while I made this card. It was fun, and it turned out beautiful, I think. I hope that y'all love it as much as I do, and I hope that you will try something like this yourself. I love to see you replicate my my cards, the things that I bring you and teach you how to do. I love to watch you replicate. So, you know, do me a favor. Go over to our Facebook group if you make something like this and share it there so I can see it. I would love that. And as I'll always say in closing, be kind, be gentle, and be loving to one another, and let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Thank you again for tuning in. And until next time we craft, God bless you. Bye-bye.